This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
He has time. He's got left side. Dobbs is there. Leaping grab. Touchdown. Touchdown.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Ken and Santa Rob in the morning.
What's up?
And no, today is not Ken's birthday, too. I forgot to change the title.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't get 2 days in a row. He wanted that Victory Monday for his birthday present, but guess what? We served him up something different.
So what did you think about the game last night there, Rob?
Bro, I stopped watching it after the second.
It's okay.
The Cowboys are so done.
Yep. I stopped watching it myself, too.
Man, it was a blowout.
I was going to say, looking at the stats at the end of the game, though, it doesn't seem like Cooper Rush had too bad of a day. He actually had some decent yardage. They just couldn't put freaking points on the board.
Yeah, that's the whole point, man. You can't win if you don't score. So, Cowboys are done. Somebody put a fork in them and let the Cowboy fan base down very gently because, they're all,
I was going to say, after this offseason of Jerry Jones, we're going all in and all that, they got to be on the ledge right about now.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, man, this has turned out about as bad as it could for them. Not only are you losing, but you lost your freaking $60 million quarterback on top of it.
Yeah, for the year. They done so for the year for him. And none of these guys are even close. I mean, and I'm not – Dak, it was kind of off this year too. He seemed a little bit. But, I mean, I don't know, man. They just ain't been right since the beating we gave them at the – playoffs at the end of last season. Nope. They haven't been right. And I read an article this morning that McCarthy put his house up here in Dallas for sale.
Well, come on, the writing's on the freaking wall.
I'm pretty sure.
Hold on, it's not even on the wall. They took out a freaking billboard sign and put it in his living room. You can't perform this badly, have players talk this much shit about you, and expect to keep your job.
Why? They're doing it in Chicago. Just saying, man.
I will give a little bit of Eberflus seems to have the defensive players 100% bought in, and after this past Sunday, the offense looks more like a football offense.
Bro,
I will give them that.
They are getting ready to fire they're blaming their special teams coordinator now. They're about to put him because special teams failed and let us block that. He's on the block. This is Eberflus. He's cutting through his coordinators. Special teams coordinators on the never been in trouble for the years he's been there. Now that shit happened last week, and he's on the block.
Hold on. The guy that makes one mistake, we're gonna get rid of him.
That's
the
because
offensive line coach that's apparently been blind for the past 3 years, he can keep his job.
Yeah,
that's cool,
bro. I read the article this morning, man. It was on there. They're saying that Eberflus has another coordinator in his sights to be axed. When the whole article should be about axing him, and but that's the new scapegoat. It's which scapegoat they're going to put up, and it's the special teams coordinator now. It's about to get his job cut instead of cutting Flus.
Well,
just cut the guy.
I guess if we're going to talk about that stuff, I have been seeing some stuff. and I pray to God
So,
that
man,
this is just internet rumors and that shit. But apparently, Eberflus is sending tapes into the league officials saying that we got leverage on one of their guys.
no,
I
their center is what he's talking about.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I seen it. I
you
watched it.
know,
There's nothing. This
I
is him reaching.
yeah, I seen where it's close, where you could, suspect it a bit, but nothing that says clear as day that that's what it was. And I mean, even if it was, the time to bitch about it was during the game. Well, there's not much that's going to be done now. What are they going to do? Say, "Oh, my bad, we missed one."
Yeah. Yeah, no. Good morning, Fred. Good morning, Matt. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Orlando. Welcome to the
Good
show.
morning, everybody.
Yeah, I think Flus is he's gonna be gone, bro. Good morning, Dwayne.
Yeah. Good morning.
I think McCarthy's on. He's definitely gone. I think Flus is gone. Who else do you think is gonna be gone?
Doug Peterson for
Oh
Jacksonville.
yeah, Peterson from Jacksonville. That's another one. If he don't get cut before the season,
I honestly don't think he's gonna get cut before the season. I think that'll be another one like McCarthy. The day the season ends, all right, get your shit and get the hell out of this stadium and don't ever come back.
I agree with you, Matt. I think they should trade Parsons because that's the last. I mean, you could trade anybody really. I mean, you could trade even CeeDee Lamb. I mean, you got him under contract. Trade him. You'll get something for him.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you there, Bear Down Mike. But Matt, I get why you're saying that they should trade Parsons because they'd get a haul of picks for it. But to me, that's one of those guys that you can build a side of the ball around, and that'd be who I'd be keeping out of everybody on defense.
Yeah.
But granted, I'd love to see him leave Dallas.
Yeah, me too.
But
I'd like to see him in Green Bay.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. Maybe we could accidentally get some freaking defensive line pressure.
Yeah.
And I do mean accidentally.
Accidentally.
Ooh.
Who's offering a bag for Ben Johnson? You guys think the line's going to let him go?
I've heard rumors about Ben Johnson wanting the Chicago job, and it's not like
he wants it.
Detroit has to let him go because it's an upward move. He can do that, but man,
he openly said, "I want the Chicago head coaching job."
There's disputes about whether he said that or not. Actually,
I don't think who openly says that. Because right now, it's a dumpster fire right there. Parsons would be
not even that. That you are on a winning team with Super Bowl aspirations. Why are you going to say you want to be anywhere besides right where you are right now?
Yeah. I got to take this.
Yep.
Hello?
Well,
my show. What's up, man? Come on.
We do have the new power rankings out for the NFL. And Detroit, according to NFL, is the number one team in the league. And I can't really argue with it. From what they've shown so far, they look to be the most dominant. But what has surprised me is the Bills hopping over the Chiefs. Granted, I knew they just beat the Chiefs in that, but with them damn near being the top of the power rankings almost each and every week, you'd think they'd have a grace period of one. Yeah. Hey. We all know about how this salary cap stuff it is pretty much just, here's a limit, but we're not going to really stick with it. They find ways to get under it. So if they really wanted Parsons, they could find a way to pay him. And I mean, we just cleared up money getting rid of Preston Smith. So it's possible. I don't know how plausible it is. Oh, shit. I don't think McCarthy gets another head coaching job, nor do I even think he gets to become a coordinator again in the NFL. His offense is massively stale. It's been the same thing since 05.
I mean, he's coached on two. I mean, look, bro, storied franchises as a head coach, and won a title with Green Bay. I mean, that goes a long way. I don't know that he can't get a job somewhere else.
But he also completely lost the locker room in both places.
Both places, I get it.
You learn from him. He just lost the locker room. He had players that were actively speaking out against him and how lazy he is. I really don't think that there's going to be an NFL team that's going to hear that and say, "Ooh, sign me up for try number 3."
Maybe. I don't know. At one time, he was a great coach, bro.
Bear down, Mike. I got to agree with you there. I could see him going to the college level, but even then, with the money that Mike McCarthy's made, he might just say screw it and retire, because he doesn't seem like a guy that's that motivated to be going out and coaching still. He seems to enjoy a lot of his downtime, even when he's supposed to be doing his job. So
and he's selling a $5 million mansion here in Dallas. So what the fuck?
Yeah. And after Green Bay, he took the year hiatus too. I think he's honestly done.
Maybe he goes into maybe he goes into announcing. I don't know.
Freaking Luca. Ben Johnson is too afraid to leave the Lions. Campbell keeps him locked up in a gimp suit.
Dang, that's probably true. I mean, I don't know.
Well, any free agents that I'd want Green Bay to get in the offseason? A corner. And one of the real good corners. I haven't looked at who's available yet, but the Eric Stokes project is not working out, and Nixon is way too up and down for me to depend on him as a starting corner. And shit, even Alexander is, when he's healthy, he's damn good, but that's the problem. It's when he's healthy. I'm not saying, I'm not saying cut this guy tomorrow, but we got to start thinking about the succession plan after him.
Wow. So, Ken, you're talking about blowing up the secondary? Like, I just caught on. You're talking about blowing up your entire secondary.
Oh, I'm talking about sending Stokes out of the freaking country.
Yeah. I mean, between him and Jair,
you didn't just say Stokes. You said Jair, and you said
it's a lot. And Nixon. He said Nixon.
Yeah. Stokes.
Yeah, but he said Alexander.
Yeah, I said I want Stokes gone, and I want a succession plan in place for Alexander because of his injury history.
Yeah, he's hurt again, bro.
Yeah, because the past few years he's been missing games. Granted, he's great when he's healthy, but that's the problem, is he's missing a lot of chunks of games here. And good morning there, Yoli.
You're right, Fred. I don't see how anybody coaches in New York with Rodgers there. Rodgers getting everybody fired.
I don't know how Aaron Rodgers stays there next year with how
I don't see it either. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, well, who do they got as a quarterback? Who are they going to put in there better than AR that they got? I mean,
looks like they're going to join everybody else and going for a quarterback hunt.
What? Beard on Mike says McCarthy to the Jags.
Haven't the Jags gone through enough horrible?
You're so mean, Mike. You're so mean. You're so mean, Mike.
No, I do think the Jets are going to try to draft a quarterback.
Yeah, that would be the smart thing.
There's
keep
5 or
Rodgers
6
around one more year. Keep Rodgers.
There's 5 or 6 this year that are projected in the first round, early second round. So, I mean, there's Jackson Dart. There's a few.
You're right, Jason. Alexander's always fucking hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm so over it.
Yeah,
I see how he plays. I understand why he's hurt all the time because he throws his body around, but still, bro, you need to be out there. I mean, when he's not out there, it's a different defense for us. I mean,
absolutely.
Man,
In Stokes, I will give it to him. He's been healthy this year. He's just played like garbage.
Yeah, he's just trash.
Yeah, we see him get absolutely cooked each and every week.
Trash. Man, just getting burned. Oh.
And what sucks,
It wasn't too long ago that Stokes was showing a lot of promise, wasn't he?
yeah, that's
Yes,
what I was
first
just
year.
about to bring up. Is that it sucks? Is that all during training camp he was showing signs that he was finally getting back to his rookie year form, and he was actually going to be able to step up and play how he used to. No, it's the same old shit we've got for the past couple of years out of him. I'm done with the Stokes project.
Yeah, I think Ben Johnson might more likely go to New York than Chicago. There's a lot more upside in the New York Jet team.
What do they got going on in New York? I mean, they got a good defense.
Yeah.
They got a good defense. They've got good wide receivers, good running
Well,
backs.
no, Devontae's going to be gone.
You might be able to get Devontae to stay, but
Yeah, it's the contract, bro. They're going to have to, even if they cut him, and then I don't know how they would even do it because he took on the contract from the Raiders. So, like his cap hit this year is like 40-something million.
He should open a suit.
yeah, they got to rework that contract. And even if Devontae goes, you still have Garrett Wilson there, and he's a receiver that you could definitely build around.
Yeah, they got pieces. They got a couple of pieces, and defensively they got some pieces too.
You know, they need to massively rebuild that offensive line, and that might be a project that takes a couple of years.
Yeah. How many pieces do they really need across there?
Well, they did address it this past offseason, but apparently not well enough.
Yeah. I mean, what, you could draft one or two guys, maybe get one in free agency. I mean, you could do it in a year.
Yeah, and then maybe Rodgers gets a little bit more closer to his old self next year now that he's a few years removed from that Achilles injury. As of right now, his age is definitely caught up with him. I'd like to see Rodgers, not go out like this, but we've seen other great quarterbacks that happen to too.
Yep.
Can't play forever, man.
Can't play forever. Yeah, he's given up a lot of big plays this year. I gotta say that you're right, A-Dub.
I was gonna say, Stokes is fast, but he's leaving guys open pretty well.
He's gonna go do Jeopardy.
I would have agreed if you didn't have all the controversy with Aaron Rodgers after the COVID stuff. I think he's kind of played himself out of a Jeopardy host spot.
I don't have a
Rob, are you a Nigerian prince?
No, bro. I wish.
Oh no. He's not one, but he plays one on the phone.
I play one on the phone.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you need $10,000 to free your inheritance of billions.
Yeah. And I'll split the money with you if you do it.
Yeah, exactly. Calling them 85-year-old ladies.
Nobody's saying that, Orlando. I mean,
Yeah,
Rodgers has
he's
shown.
definitely not Daniel Jones, but he's nowhere near the Aaron Rodgers that we're used to either.
He's not.
I mean, dude, honestly, he's kind of playing like Daniel Jones. Like, I'll go ahead and say it. Like, look at his stats this year, dude. Like, I mean, maybe he's not quite as bad as Daniel Jones, but like he's unrecognizable as Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I'll agree with that part. Is he's unrecognizable as Aaron Rodgers, but I can't consciously put freaking him and Daniel Jones on the same level.
No.
I mean, nobody's benching Aaron Rodgers and making him a third stringer.
It's because you loved the dude at one point, but like come on, man. Like the stats speak for themselves. Like Aaron Rodgers is gone, bro. He has left the building. Like he is no longer able to carry a team.
Yeah, and I won't deny that there might be
If he ever could.
some bias. Yeah, there might be some bias coming through for me from how much I loved Aaron Rodgers, but man, it's rough to see. I'm just hoping that maybe it's that he needed another year to get fully healthy, and we'll see a little bit more of the Aaron Rodgers we know next year. Because I don't want to see him end his career on a season like this.
He'll get traded. He'll get traded. They're going to trade him.
Everybody that stays has that. It's like a good season out of them, and then it's like they'll stay for the next season, and it'll be like, oh, they'll get paid. They'll get, everybody stayed one season too long, man. And some a few seasons.
Oh, he already did that in Green Bay. He already did that in Green Bay, and maybe this is his. If I'm the Jets, I'm trading him out of there. You're not going to get a good coach in there with Rodgers there. They're going to be afraid they're going to lose their job. I mean, he's got 2 head coaches fired already, bro. Come on. I'm not going in there as a coach to have him work. Screw that. Get rid of Rodgers, and then I'll come in.
All right, well, screw it. I'll put my name in the freaking hat.
You want to coach Rodgers?
If nobody else will take the job, damn it, I will.
Fuck that. I mean, bro, I love Rodgers. Don't get me wrong. I love Rodgers. I love how he played for us. But he ain't that guy no more. He's not that guy. Every week,
and they're letting him. They're letting him have say. And that's the problem for the Jets.
Yeah, and he's not.
They're letting him make. They're letting him make personnel decisions. They're letting him make coaching decisions, and it's like, I mean, if he was prime Aaron Rodgers, I could understand that, dude. But prime Aaron Rodgers has left.
I mean, Rodgers might have to go to the Bears to play. He might have to go to Chicago to play. He's their owner, temporary. He was a previous owner, so they might let him in to play.
You think he would actually do that?
I don't know, bro.
Would Rodgers do something like that? I could see it happening, but I don't see Chicago giving up on Caleb Williams to bring in an old man Aaron Rodgers. I think they love Caleb Williams too much there for that.
Yeah, I don't think they said him.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying they would, but maybe they consider bringing Aaron in as well. Yeah, that's why I just don't think it could happen, because Aaron's not going to be a backup to anybody.
That's what I was about to say.
Bro.
You think he's a problem now? Could you imagine him as a backup?
I could if he understood. I could if he understood going in. Like, look, we want you to help us groom this guy. You know what I mean? We want you to help us, teach Caleb how to play.
Hey. I'm not gonna tell Aaron Rodgers that he needs to lay off the psychedelics. He won a couple of MVPs higher than freaking donkey shit on them. So I'm not gonna say that was a bad.
Allegedly, sir. Allegedly, he was.
Oh no, there is no allegedly. He openly admitted it.
He was wasted.
Allegedly.
Fired up right before he went out in the game.
Yeah. That's like freaking
allegedly OJ. It's like allegedly OJ killed his wife, right?
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly.
OJ, he passed away over the weekend. Is
Rodgers going to come out with a book? If I took ayahuasca, this is how I would have drinking it.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of OJ, he passed away over the weekend, right?
Oh no.
Yeah,
no, that was weeks ago, dude.
Was it weeks? I saw it this weekend. I saw they said he passed away from cancer.
Yeah, he passed away.
No longer with us.
Probably 5 or 6 weeks ago.
Yeah. I just saw it this weekend, and I was like, "Oh shit, OJ's gone.
The juice is gone.
The juice is no longer loose."
Yeah.
I mean, bro, you remember those? Well, maybe you don't. There's no way Ken remembers, but you remember those commercials of him running through the airport, jumping over luggage?
Okay. I might not have been alive for those commercials, but they've been played at nauseum.
You've seen them? Okay, all right. I'm just making sure. I don't know if you've seen them or not.
Enterprise Rent-A-Car or the Hertz commercials. Yeah,
man.
dude. The juice.
The juice.
See, now I obviously, because I was a little too young when all the OJ stuff was going on. When he was driving down the road in Al Cowling's white Bronco, they should have taken a commercial break and played one of them that the juice is loose.
Bro. I remember that. That was crazy. That was, man. That was crazy.
Fred, that's the comment of the day right there.
I just like the
Took him on
yeah, I don't inhale.
Okay, Bill Clinton.
I don't inhale. That's all. I don't inhale.
I don't speak jive.
I don't speak jive.
Remember they went and got the stewardess that does speak jive to interpret? Oh my God, dude. She was so funny.
And don't call me Shirley, Robert.
Don't call me Shirley.
Oh.
So where's Ken today?
Partied a little too hard for his birthday last night.
Yeah, bro. We don't know. He's crying over the Bear loss, bro. Him and Eberflus are conspiring to send the NFL a letter. Ken's dictating for him. He's taking notes. You know that's where he's at, man.
About the middle? About the middle of the line on the kick protection?
Yeah. Somehow we touched the center, but you could clearly see the center. I mean, I don't understand where we fucked up, but
you're right. That was airplane, Robert. You're right. That was airplane, but sometimes I get them confused because
I know it was me too, man. I'm sorry, my bad.
Okay.
I like Leslie Nielsen comedies though.
Yeah. Yeah. I freaking loved Airplane. You ever see a grown man naked? but Jim, this is not the Aaron Rodgers of old. Aaron Rodgers of old could put that Superman cape on. Granted, he couldn't make up for having freaking atrocious defenses. When we
I don't know, Ken. Honestly, I think it's a good discussion to have right now. Let's have the discussion. Is Aaron Rodgers overrated? Was his career overrated? Do we look back on his career with rose-colored glasses?
Me personally, I don't think it was. I think it was he was massively let down by the organization that especially Ted Thompson did not build anywhere near a complete team around him. The defense that they would put him with most years were absolutely abysmal. I couldn't tell you how many times I watched a Packers playoff game end because the other team had the ball last and the defense couldn't stop them for shit.
Hey, Fred Peterson talking about Ken said, how hard can a person party in his 70s? Stayed up 30 minutes too late watching 60 Minutes?
I mean, he does point out he's retired a lot, so he's retired.
Let's seriously. I think that's a good topic for the show. Let's have that conversation. Ken says no, Aaron Rodgers was not overrated. That the organization let him down.
Yep.
I'm going to push back on that a little bit. I think Aaron Rodgers is the most physically talented quarterback I've ever seen in my life. I watched him play at Cal because I'm a Cal fan. He's the best quarterback we ever had, that's for sure. And year after year, he just, for whatever reason in the playoffs, other than that one year, that Super Bowl year where you guys were just absolutely loaded, he couldn't get it done. And to me, I just feel like there are guys like Peyton Manning, for example, who have more Super Bowls and did more with less.
One more Super Bowl, and he had an outstanding defense for them.
Yeah, but
Peyton Manning did not win
He did not win that second Super Bowl. I get what you're saying. Tom Brady
was just a victim of Ted Thompson. It wasn't.
I was going to say Tom Brady had a lot of top 10 defenses.
Yeah, he had a lot of top 10 defenses, but he didn't have a lot of top 10 receivers. And the one time that he did, they lost. So.
See, now I almost would have rather have went that route of having a top 10 defense and putting lesser wide receivers with Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers' talent could have made up for the lesser receivers on offense. But then at the same time, with Aaron Rodgers' mentality, you got these guys out here dropping balls because they're lesser receivers, and he's just going to throw to one guy every game.
But see, that's part of the argument then. Like, if you get one-itis and you start throwing it to only one guy because your guys are dropping it and you lose the game because of that, then that's partly your fault too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's like the San Francisco game.
Like, let's go back to that 49er game in the snow when he only targeted Devontae. Yep. Right.
That one I 100% put on Aaron Rodgers for playing hero ball. That one I is not included in my argument of the team letting him down. That one I will place solely at his feet, that the team did everything they were supposed to, but because he wanted the highlight reel type of shit with Devontae, that's what cost that game.
That and that block punt.
Well, yeah. But if he wasn't playing freaking hero ball, that block punt wouldn't have mattered too much.
So I just see, I think there's a middle ground. I do think Aaron Rodgers is a little bit overrated. I think physically he's the most physically talented quarterback that ever played. Like, he had that. His accuracy was amazing. His deep ball was a thing of beauty, dude. Like, it was a freaking rainbow, dude. Like, and he could hit a bee in the balls at 60 yards. Like, he could do that. And he had the mobility. Like, Rodgers was great. But to me, I think that the argument about, him choking in the playoffs, like him not getting it done in the playoffs, I think that argument holds water. And so I think
it does 100%.
See, I don't necessarily see that. I can see the argument a bit, but I watched way too many times of the other team has the ball at the end here, and they're running the clock down, and there's the go-ahead score that the defense just gave up yet again. I see way too many games of it would just be Rodgers would go down and score, and immediately the defense would give up the points right back.
Michael Hux asks, do we put Lamar Jackson in the same conversation? Great regular seasons, but not so good in the playoffs. I don't put Lamar Jackson anywhere near Aaron Rodgers as of this point. He has to win a Super Bowl first, number one, at least once. To me, I put Lamar Jackson in the Dak Prescott territory, to be honest with you. Like, he might be slightly better than Dak, but the point is, when the playoff time comes, they both disappear. And so until he can win a few playoff games, get to until he's won a couple, but I think he still has a losing playoff record. I don't know. And look at Aaron Rodgers' playoff record. Like,
it's so funny.
I get that most quarterbacks have losing playoff records because you get eliminated more times than you win the Super Bowl. But, like, I don't know.
Bro, you heard that stat about Lamar, though, right? He's never lost to an NFC champion, an NFC team in his career. He's never, I think, or he's only got one loss to an NFC team. It's either he has one or it's none. So if he makes it to the playoffs and into the Super Bowl, what are the odds he's going to win the Super Bowl if he's never lost to an NFC team?
Mm-hmm. Hey, Ada brings up a good point. He says, as far as doing more with less, Rodgers has never had a first-round tight end, wide receiver, or running back to throw the ball to in his whole career with the Packers. So, again, I'm just giving my opinion. My opinion is not gospel. It's not it's not like it's going to go in the record books. This is why we're having that conversation, A-Dub, so I'm glad that you brought that up. So that's another point to the discussion. A-Dub says he never had elite talent around him. And, I mean, I would say Devontae was an elite talent, but he wasn't a first rounder.
No, he wasn't a first round pick. We've never picked any of the wide receivers we picked in the first round were not in the Rodgers era. And I blame Ted Thompson. This is totally on Ted Thompson. This is not on the organization. This is on Ted Thompson.
And I massively blame all the years that we'd sit there and have like 30 freaking million in cap space and just roll it over into the next year. Like there was some type of reward at the end of the year for having the most cap space available. Like, dude, go out and buy somebody. Yes, I get it. You're a draft and develop guy. But sometimes you got to supplement that shit when it don't work out right.
And if I remember, I mean, bro, we went out and got what's his name, Andre Rison. We got him as a trade right there at the right at the end too. I mean, we've gone after big time wide receivers to help the quarterback. I mean, honestly, I don't know why. It's just the Ted Thompson era. I mean, Ted Thompson just did not see free agency like that. They just draft and develop, nothing else. I mean, and we still didn't draft the first round.
I don't know if I'd say Ted Thompson was the worst GM. I will say the second half of his tenure was definitely the worst.
Was definitely no.
But the first bit, he did build one hell of a team, so I won't take that away from him.
He found Rodgers. You know, he found Rodgers. Give him that. He found Rodgers. I'm not taking that away from him, but you know, he could have built like one of the greatest fucking teams ever by giving Rodgers some weapons. By, you know, the greatest show on turf, it could have been in Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the argument for me comes down to you guys had Aaron Rodgers for 15 years. And if he really is the quarterback that a lot of people claim that he is, the fact that you guys only have one Super Bowl, it only leaves one of two things to be true. Either your organization did him the biggest disservice in the history of the NFL, which could be true, but the other side is, or maybe Aaron Rodgers maybe we overrated him a little bit.
See, I think it's that we did him a major disservice because there were a lot of years that I was saying as a Packers fan that with the lack of offseason moves that we do, it's like we were okay with just making it to a deep playoff run and not getting over the hump there. That was okay because we knew we were going to fill the stadium and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, the hardest season that I remember, the 15-1 season when we lost one and done. I was so fucking pissed off. That was the biggest waste.
We decided to pretty much sit the whole offense for 3 weeks.
Yeah, 15-1 and fucking go down in the first fucking. I mean, oh my god, I was so fucking livid.
Oh, I hear you.
How about this? Something just came to me. What about? Can't both arguments be true at the same time? Can't we say like, look, maybe the Packers didn't make the moves that they should have made, and maybe I'm just throwing this out there because I'm not Ted Thompson. I don't know what was going through their heads, but maybe part of the reason that they didn't make those moves is because they thought that Aaron Rodgers was a Tom Brady type where he can elevate any kind of team, right? And
I wouldn't say Tom Brady could elevate any type of team.
Well, look, I mean, he went to the Bucks and they weren't even in the playoffs the year before, and he won him a Super Bowl. So
but they also had a shit ton of offseason additions that year too.
And Robert, we went back-to-back Super Bowls. Favre went back the next year and lost to the fucking goddamn Broncos. So, I mean, it's a different thing. We gave Brett Favre weapons. Like I said, it's Ted Thompson. It's not the organization. The organization just followed whatever the general manager. And I'm sorry that's just how our organization is. But it was him because Ron Wolf got all kinds of shit. He brought in Reggie White. I mean, Ron Wolf brought talent to the team, and it's just Ted Thompson stopped that. And now Goody's doing it. Now Goody's bringing talent to the team. I mean, this is where we thrive. This is why we're better now than we were during the Ted Thompson regime.
Speaking of Goody, do we need to start letting somebody else make first round selections instead of him? Because it seems like the back half of the draft, he does great. Second round, he does great. The first and the third rounds have left us wanting a lot more.
I mean, maybe Morgan this year is a question mark, but that doesn't mean he's a bust yet. I mean,
yeah. I'm reserving the standing on Morgan for right now. But look at all the other first round guys that we've had during the Gutekunst era, and they ain't doing so hot. Shit. Look at Quay Walker this year. He's ranked one of the worst linebackers in the league. And the guy has all the freaking physical tools to do it. It's just not happening.
Well, but you guys did switch your entire defensive scheme. Like,
yeah, no, that's the change this year. I get it. I mean, and that's why the defense is. I mean, it's clear the bye week is rusty. We were rusty coming off the bye week.
Do you think that Quay Walker can be a casualty? Because I know that Ken has a lot of takes, but one of the takes that he had was that unfortunately, because of the defensive change that you made, some guys are going to be casualties to that because they're just not going to fit the scheme. Do you think that Quay Walker could end up being one of those casualties?
He very well could be, at least as it's looking now. That Quay Walker seems to be more of an inside linebacker in the 3-4 versus either an outside or middle linebacker in the 4-3. Well, he does do a great job of calling the defense, but once it comes to the actual play, we're seeing him take horrible freaking angles. If a guy shifts at all, the second he makes some type of move, Quay's going right in at that and not playing the possibility of, hey, this guy is trying to mess with me and fake me out. No, I'm just going balls to the wall right at the very first instinct. Now, granted, sometimes it works out great, but a lot of times, at least this year, it has not worked out.
Well, and that also could be, I mean, keep in mind that kind of goes into that argument about the first year in a scheme. Like he's trying it out, maybe because he doesn't feel as comfortable that he's going, trusting his first instinct. And so it's possible that next year, as he gets more comfortable in the scheme, he may not do that. He may figure it out like, hey, actually, there's nuance to this. And so there's a chance that he could figure it out. But I was just curious if you think that he can end up being one of the casualties.
Yeah. I definitely think he can be. And I'm not saying get rid of Quay right off the bat. I'd give him up to the trade deadline next year. That if he doesn't show anything, or not anything, if he doesn't show improvement by the middle of next year, that, hey, we got to admit defeat on that one. Because if you watch these shows, you'll know that I loved Quay Walker. I was expecting him to be freaking outstanding, especially after the rookie season he had.
Yeah, man, how are they all scared?
He said Blake Martinez.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you, A-Dub. I think he is more like Blake Martinez. He's a tackling fool, but, I mean, you're right. That's it. I mean, those are great stats, but that ain't the stat you want.
It doesn't help when they're happening 15 yards past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. We need to stop the run, not let it go, and then, slow it down.
But you guys just drafted a middle linebacker. In the draft.
Yeah, no, we did. Yeah, Cooper. Yeah, no, he had. Yeah.
How are you going to say Cooper looks real good? Granted, he's had some rookie mistakes, but he's looked pretty damn good in this defense.
100%.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I think you guys drafted Cooper with the idea that you're going to the 4-3, and he's going to be your 4-3 middle linebacker, right? Because he was a beast in college. And I thought he was going to be a good player coming out. I figured he would. And so when you guys got him, I was like, oh, I think that's going to be a good fit. I thought he's going to help you guys. So does that, could that be the writing on the wall for Quay then?
It very well could possibly be.
Is he athletic enough to go to outside linebacker?
Yes, absolutely.
I think they move him. I don't think they get rid of him.
I will
do you think he's athletic enough to put him outside?
Yeah. I think absolutely. Because I will say, when they bring him in on the blitz, Quay Walker is outstanding on the blitz.
So maybe next year, maybe that's kind of their plan. Then maybe they're they're not rushing Cooper into that starting middle linebacker role. They're giving it to Quay right now, but next year they're going to move Quay outside and put, when Cooper's ready, they'll put him in.
Hey, I'd be all for giving that a shot.
As soon as Quay got healthy, they put him right back. They didn't keep him out. They put him right back in his spot. So, I mean,
like maybe they have that plan that that like Cooper was drafted with the idea that he's going to be your 4-3 middle linebacker going forward, but he just they didn't want to rush him in and have it be too much for him, because the middle linebacker is the captain of the defense. He's the guy who calls the defense. It's a lot of responsibility.
I will give Quay that part. He's got that part nailed down. He's freaking awesome at calling the defense. It's just, I wonder, might that be too much on his plate, especially with learning the new defense, of him having to call it and all that he's not allowed to, not that he's not allowed, but that he can't at the moment play up to his ability because he's got so much going on in his head.
Mm-hmm. It's a fair question. And, hopefully for you guys, Cooper will be able to take that responsibility next year, and then you can shift Quay outside, and then he only has to focus on his job, right?
Because
rather than making sure that everybody else is lined up where they need to be. And
yeah, I'd love to have the linebacker unit be Quay on the outside, Edgerrin in the middle, and Eric Will. I think it's Eric Wilson. It's Will. I know his last name's Wilson. Is the other outside linebacker, because he's done pretty damn good this year. McDuffie, I'm not freaking sold on. He'll show a couple of flashes here and there, but that's about all it is flashes.
So what do you think is your biggest need going into the draft?
I think an outside cornerback.
Not a defensive end?
And then after that, well, I don't know if I'd say after that. I'd put these two almost neck and neck, a number one receiver or an outside corner, because as we've seen from this year, that last year almost seems like it was a bit of a statistical anomaly, that we need that guy, because Romeo Doubs has not stepped up into the number one like a lot of us thought he was gonna. And he's either going to have to take himself a team-friendly contract, or he might not be on the team next year.
What about a pass rusher?
Yeah, I was going to say we're going to need that too.
Because I've heard Packers fans all season say that you guys are suffering from a lack of pass rush.
I don't necessarily know if it's that we need a new pass rusher, or if it's that these guys need to get more time in the system, because they were great when we were in the 3-4 to the 4-3. This transition might be taking the defensive line a little more, or they just might not be the right fit. I do not know yet.
What about Gary?
I will tell you, though, that I am disappointed in the way Van Ness has played this year.
What about Rashawn Gary?
Rashawn Gary, I have no idea why he is playing as bad as he is this year. He's got all the freaking physical gifts in the world to be able to do it. He's shown that he can do it in previous years, but it is not turning out this year at all. He's got literally 3.5 sacks on the year, and only one from beating an offensive lineman. The other ones came from him being completely unblocked.
See, that's an interesting thing, because I was a big advocate for that. I said I think Gary will do great putting his hand in the ground.
That's what I thought too.
So it's possible that maybe we were wrong.
Yeah.
But again, it's the first year in the system, and I think you got to give him a little bit of time.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I'm not saying to pull the plug on the defensive line yet.
But I think a pass rusher would do you guys a lot of good, like a true defensive end, true 4-3 defensive end could go a long way.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. The only reason I'm against it is from how much we've invested in the defensive line already, that I kind of want to see if we can make it work. And granted, yes, I know that can be a bad thought process of hanging on to a guy a little too long, but I'm holding hopes for some of these guys.
I mean, look at it like this. Van Ness has been pretty decent, right? Like he's not a superstar, but he's had his moments, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's just what he is. Maybe he's just a rotational guy, you know? So let's say you go out in the draft in the first round and you take, apparently Mike says that this is a deep class for pass rushers. Let's say you get one of the premier pass rushers in the draft, and then Van Ness becomes a backup, and then now you have Gary and you have your other pass rusher.
I was going to say, and that could possibly be part of why the cornerbacks outside of Alexander are performing so bad this year, is because the quarterbacks have all day to throw against them.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, I think that they go hand in hand, like the better your pass rush, the better your corners look, because they don't have to cover as long. And so, we're looking at attacking the same problem, but we're looking at it from two different perspectives, right? Mm-hmm. You're saying, well, if we get better corners, they can cover longer. And I'm saying, well, if you get better pass rushers, they won't have to.
And the thing is that's how I've always kind of leaned, was more towards the corner side, is that I value them higher than I do a pass rusher.
But the league doesn't.
Huh?
The league doesn't. There's a reason that pass rushers are paid next to quarterbacks. Like they're the second highest paid position in the league. Pass rushers are not a dime a dozen, and not that corners are. Elite corners are not a dime a dozen either. But a pass rusher has so much more of an impact than one elite corner does. Like, if you put it this way, like, take the most elite corner in the league, right? Let's say take a Sauce Gardner. He's only one guy. He can only shut down either one guy or one part of the field, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas one elite pass rusher can have 17 sacks in a season, and that, it's like, it definitely helps.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just something to think about.
I look at it personally as, I think it's a little easier to find a good pass rusher and an elite corner than it is to find an elite pass rusher and a pretty good corner. Because I think if you get that elite corner, it makes that pass rush a hell of a lot easier. But then in the same token, if you have the elite pass rusher, it makes the cornerback's job easier. So two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, just difference in philosophy.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, I absolutely love having a shut down corner.
Yeah, I would argue that it's not as valuable as an elite pass rusher.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the Packers' problems on defense could be solved if their pass rush was better. I think they would be solved. Like, and just look at the teams that have had success against you this year. What were they able to do? They were able to pressure Jordan Love. They were able to break through that monstrous offensive line of your guys's.
What monstrous offensive line? Shit.
Your guys' offensive line is pretty fucking good. Don't give me that shit.
Yeah, oh yeah. The only caveat that I'll give is I'm not too big of a fan of Sean Ryan at right guard. Like, he's not horrible, don't get me wrong, but I think Morgan is our starting right guard of the future type.
Moonscar says, I think you have to build the trenches first, both sides, so pass rush first.
Yeah, see, I kind of like working my way from the top down. I'd much rather have that lockdown guy to where I know, hey, he's going to take out their best weapon of the game, to where I don't got to worry about this guy causing any damage. So I just need to get the defense to contain the other guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. In other news, the Raiders tank is on track.
Awesome.
We only got 7 more losses in a row.
7
it's gonna come down to the toilet bowl. going to come down to the Raiders and the Jags.
I cannot do that. I do not understand how teams tank. Just do not understand.
Believe me, I do.
So here's the thing. I don't know if the Raiders are actually like cognizantly tanking. Like they might really just be that bad with Gardner Minshew at quarterback, but I'm supporting the tank whether they're actually trying to tank or not.
Mm-hmm. Hey, and I'm with you, Joe. If you're gonna suck, you might as well be one of the worst teams in the league. That way, you can get one of the better draft picks.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's a small sacrifice. Like,
you mean
if you look at everything in context, dude, the Raiders have been losing for 20 freaking years now, dude. We've had 2 playoff appearances in 20 years, bro. Like 22 years, right? We've had 2 playoff appearances. So, and both times we were one and done. So, to me, I'm okay with losing 15 games this year if it gets us Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, because our entire franchise trajectory turns around at that point. You know, you can't make it in this league without good quarterback play, dude. You just can't. It's not like the early 2000s or the late 90s when Trent Dilfers could win Super Bowl.
I don't know. If you put an absolute elite defense with a damn near elite running game, I think you could still get it done. But it's going to be real hard if you go up against one of these elite quarterbacks that can get points on the board in a minute or less.
I don't know, man. I think the days of the Dilfers are done, dude.
Don't do that. Don't staple it. Just put a little bit.
Yeah, see, the worst thing a team can do is not tank and end up with a pick like the Raiders at 13.
All right, there.
The Lions have been losing for 70 years, but you know what? You had your quarterback. You guys didn't even tank, and you got Matt Stafford, and you just couldn't put enough pieces around him to make it work. Like, you had your quarterback, and now, I mean, it ain't like you're losing now. You got a shot at the Super Bowl this year, dude.
Yeah.
Now, that remains to be seen whether Goff can get it done, but, I mean, dude, like...
You got to play the whole year, man. It's not just you got to show up every game, man. That's what I was talking about, the 15-1 season. That was like so terrible when we lost. It was like the best I've seen us playing, and then they fucking squander it. Holy fuck.
And, you know, the Raiders have been losing for a long time, too. Like, they had a short period of winning, right? Like, they had that period with Gannon where they won 3 straight division titles, and that was like our little oasis in the desert, because before that, we hadn't won a Super Bowl in 15 years.
You guys had a great wide receiver, too, and what's his name? Man, you've had some pieces.
We had Tim Brown and Jerry Rice.
Yeah, Tim Brown, yeah.
And Jerry Rice.
Yeah, but Jerry was then, Jerry back then.
I was going to say, he might have been grabbing that Jerry, but he was still good.
No, Jerry had 1,200 yards that season. That Super Bowl season, Jerry had 1,200 yards, dude.
That's just because he's cocky, man. He just, give me the ball. He was the first TO.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, with the Lions, you had a bunch of top 5 picks. You got him Calvin Johnson and nothing else. Like,
but Tim Brown, I love Tim Brown. I thought Tim Brown was awesome. Yeah.
Like, Matt Stafford was your guys' chance, dude. And at that time, right, you guys, like, you had a chance to come out of that losing, and you just couldn't put enough other pieces around them. But I will say, I've been saying this for a couple years now. The way the Lions have been drafting the last few years, like, it's showing, dude. Like, I've been saying it before they even started winning. I said, I like the way the Lions are drafting. If they can keep going this way, they're going to be a team to contend with for a while, dude. And now you guys have built a pretty solid team.
About the Lions being relevant. I'm just giving you guys a bunch of shit. All right.
Damn.
Thanks everybody for watching, and especially thank you guys that took your time to comment. You have yourselves a wonderful rest of your day.
Just tank.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
He has time. He's got left side. Dobbs is there. Leaping grab. Touchdown. Touchdown.